So yesterday I put the hydraulic clutch external slave cylinder kit on this rat rod. I didn't make any videos because it was kind of intense work, and holding the camera to that was more than I was willing to take on. So I got it done, and when I went to work the clutch, it didn't work basically. And so I began to wonder if this hydraulic clutch master cylinder was any good. I had it on there, I was trying to bleed it, I was getting a little bit of fluid through it, so not much. So I just took it off, and I'm gonna press this, which would be the same as pushing the clutch pedal. Now there's fluid in this, but you notice there's no fluid coming out of this hole, which is where it should come out of. So I'm reading that as this one has gone bad. Now if you think about it, I stopped driving this car because the clutch started working. I was blaming it on the internal hydraulic throwout bearing, which does the same thing as the slave on here. But it could have been that this was the problem all along. With that said, I ordered a new one of these. It may be possible to rebuild this, but you know, I just went ahead and ordered a new one. And so I'm going to wait for that to get here. And while I'm waiting, I'm going to work on some other stuff. But I'm good and convinced that this one is not working, and it does have an ample amount of brake fluid in it. So I believe once that gets here and I put it on here, it will work. So with that said, I just noticed when I took that off that it filled up right here. Let's see if it worked with the cap off. Oh, it's actually leaking. Look at that. That's interesting. It's working with the cap off, and it's got a good flow. I wonder if I just unstopped something. I wonder if I blew out something that was stopping it up. This might actually work now that I've done that. These things are subject to get stopped up. Like if you get some trash in here, well, that's got a huge flow. Pretty dirty looking stuff. I'm tempted to put that back on there now that I've done that and try that. That could have actually fixed it. Let's do that. It's a little work, but it don't cost me nothing to do it. Interesting. Okay, I'll do that. Okay, the blood sacrifice has been made. So I put that back in there, rehooked everything. I'm about to jump over in there and try to bleed it. We'll see what happens this time. Oh, the joy. Usually you have to make a blood sacrifice when you're working on a car before you get anywhere. And hopefully this will help me to atone for my hot rod sins here. By the way, I've been upside down, inside out, over, under. I've had my legs thrown over the side and down in the battery box, and my head all upside down, and my shoulders pinned under the steering wheel. It's been a heck of a day so far. But if this works, it's all worth it. I wouldn't hurt if I'd have brought a light so I could see down in there, but I'm just gonna mash this. Getting a lot of bubbles out. Getting a lot of bubbles out. Let me get that light. You know, I can actually mash this with a broom handle without getting over in there. That might be more sensibler in reality. I was doing that yesterday. I wonder if there was something clogged in this that went into the line and stuck in the line somewhere. But it looks like the end of this line where it goes into that slave cylinder isn't even wet. How could that be? Now look, I don't know if y'all can see that or not, but I am not. Y'all saw me a while ago when I did that. I saw it squirt. I'm not getting any squirt now. I wonder if my pedal is not adjusted correctly or something like that. Am I getting enough throw on it? I'm gonna need to get under the side of the car a little bit. I need to jack it up a little bit. I'm gonna cut y'all off while I do some troubleshooting. Okay, I'm coming right back to the same conclusion that I was at before. You know, this thing, well, wait a minute now. It may not be pumping far enough. See, I adjusted out the thing that's attached to the pedal. I came up here pumping, it didn't pump, and I mashed the pedal a few times and it didn't pump. But it just kind of occurred to me that, because I couldn't adjust it out much more than I had it, maybe the adjustment isn't enough. Maybe I need to lengthen the rod. That would explain it. So when I went back to pump it here, I wasn't getting anything out of it. Okay, so I'm gonna loosely attach this back onto here. The fluid won't be running out. I'm gonna go in there and see if I can lengthen that rod. That might be my problem. I might not have enough throw in the pedal. I've been spending an awful lot of time with this clutch. And keep in mind when I set this clutch up, originally for the old hydraulic throwout bearing, there was instructions in there about not allowing the pedal to go to compress too far because you could blow out the throwout bearing with too much pressure. So I had a limiter on my pedal, and I may have had my my rod that goes up into the slave master cylinder adjusted pretty loosely. Now I've redone all that. I've started bleeding it, and I'm starting to get some pressure. Like when I push this right now, it's hard to push, whereas before I could push that with my hand, and I was getting air through the line, and I can see that there's fluid in the line now. So I'm going to climb over in the car, and I'm going to compress it with my foot because it takes some foot pressure to push that now, which is a good thing because, you know, if you're compressing a clutch pressure plate, it takes a goodly bit of pressure to do that, and you can't really easily do that with a stick in your hand, but you can with your leg because your leg muscle is stronger. So what I believe is happening here is that I'm actually compressing the clutch. In fact, I can see the clutch arm move right there. Now, if I put this in gear, which I can do here, even though I don't have a shifter here, I should be able to shift this like this. Clutch out, I cannot turn the back wheel. Clutch in, I can turn the back wheel. So there's you're looking at the drive shaft. Right there. With the clutch in, I'm turning it. With the clutch out, I can't. So that means the clutch is working. So, okay. So I should be able to cap this off and go out here and undo the bleeder So I'm gonna fasten this back. I mean, I shouldn't say fasten it back, but just snug all the connections good. And I can put this cap back on here. Now, I should be able to, at this point, put the shifter back in place over here and crank this thing and drive it out of the garage. I say crank it, I have a couple more things to hook up, like the distributor. I need to hook that up. The hot wire from the to the distributor. So, that's honking.